Welcome to another video in the AI agent series. What we're running through today is how to create our own agent that's able to go through, analyze a task from our master agent that we've got here. That was in the last episode that we covered. I'll include the link here so you're able to go and watch that video if you want to. And what we're going to be able to do is identify maybe if we need to add some people to a calendar invite, so a Google meeting. We want to actually extract their sort of information. We want to schedule a meeting with them. Maybe you want to add some tasks to our Motion account. We're also able to maybe escalate some issues, contact people. So lots and lots of information that we're going to be running through today. So we're going to build it all together step by step. This may be a bit of a longer episode, no idea how long it's going to take, but let's jump straight in. So what we covered last time was actually retrieving the information through our Slack channel. Again, I'll include the link so you can watch that video. We're going to be building on that today. And what we're going to do is actually get this information and now start to triage it and actually work with it. So as you can see here, quite a few different modules that we're going to be walking through, but the first part is going to be around getting that information from our Airtable here. So what we did last time is actually include all of the information in here. Now what we're going to be doing is working through this time and task management agent so that we can go and complete these actions like you can see here. So let's jump straight in. So we're going to come into a new scenario. We're then going to come across the Airtable. We're going to do watch record. So again, this is going to watch for an update in our Airtable. We're going to make sure that we're all connected to our AI agent account. So where we're storing all of the information, we're going to choose the base, which is actually that agent log. So we'll wait. So there we go. We've got the base. So again, this is our AI agent base. We've got the calls, all of the information there, the voicemails, and then we've got the activity log for what the agent's done. Let's come down here and we'll do agent log. So whilst this is loading up, so what we're going to be doing in here, as you can see, there's quite a few different actions. Well, we've gone through the master coordinator action, and now we're doing the time and task management agent. And within this, we're going to do calendar management, scheduling meetings, prioritizing, monitoring tasks, setting reminders, follow-up actions, monitoring deadlines. All of this we can do just by sending a message in our Slack channel and waiting for a response to come back or the action to be completed. And again, we'll be notified in our Slack channel that that has occurred. So we'll come back into our mate.com scenario. We're going to do the trigger field as last modified, because what we're going to do is once this action gets updated into here, it will change the status to do, and then we'll update it on the far right hand side here so that we know that we need to go in through and actually trigger that. And we'll do the label field as task. We'll say limit is 100, so it's able to do 100 tasks in a go. We'll say from now on, we'll do save, and we'll just rename this to get task details. And then we're going to come through here and we're going to do a chat GPT module. I'm just going to copy this across because we've got the prompt ready to go in here as well. So let's paste that in here. Now, to do this, all you need to do is come down to the bottom, do OpenAI chat GPT, create a completion module, and that'll give you the exact same module that we're going to be using today. Another way, and we discussed it in the previous video, is around using OpenRouter. So this is a great alternative because what it enables you to do, if we just load it up here, is you can choose from the different AI models that are available to them, and you're actually able to have a fallback, so you shouldn't run into any credit issues or not running through because you're timing out. As you can see there, for example, we've got the new DeepSeek R1 model in there. We can do OpenAI. We've also got free versions in there, so lots that you can choose from. We're just going to stick with the OpenAI version today. We've also got a filter here. So as we can see in here, we're going to have lots and lots of actions that come through, and we need to make sure that we're only getting the time and task management actions for this specific part of the agent or this sub agent. So what we need to do is add a filter. So condition, we're looking for the assignee. So as you'll see, you'll start to pulse on the left hand side, and then we're looking for the status for it to be to do. We'll do OK. So now what it's going to do is every time this is updated, if a action is changed from any of the other values, as we can see here, to do, and it's got the corresponding agent of time and task management, then it's going to go and start to complete that action. Brilliant. So what have we got in the prompt here? Well, if we open this up, it's quite a detailed prompt, and we've always got the priming prompt, and then we paste in the information that we want to run through. So as we can see here, the first part is basically explaining what the agent does and its goal. We've also explained the follow-up actions, like we mentioned in here, the activities that we've got for this. We've explained to the AI what they are, so it really understands how it's going to go through, what it needs to do for each one, and how it's going to triage them down to the different nodes that we've got generated. Again, a few instructions here. We've then given it a few example inputs and outputs, what we're really looking for. Again, all of the resources in the link below if you want to get access to this, and you'll be able to tailor this to your exact use cases. we'll do save. If we come a bit further down, the next section is actually giving the information about the task. So as you can see there, we're going to be taking the task from our actual input in our Airtable. So we'll do save, and now it's all ready to go. What we should do after this is just to make sure that we're actually, letting the person know it's in progress, and it's not going to try and redo that action whilst we're going through. We'll do agent log, record ID, we'll come to the left, we'll do record ID. We can do assignee, we'll do map to the output of the routing agent because it's going to tell us where it's going. And then we're going to do status, we're going to say in progress, we'll do save, and we'll just say in progress. Brilliant. So one thing that's key to note as well is, of course, we're going to be sending messages back into our Slack channel. If we come into our master AI channel, what you need to make sure is you have a filter at the start here, which says not an agent, the bot ID, as you can see here, bot ID. And then we've got a filter on the right hand side, which is bot ID. And then what you want to do is after you run it once, you'll see a bot ID that comes through. This will stay consistent for all of the messages that are coming through from this specific agent. You just want to make sure that you're filtering them out, so we're not going to try and action a bot's response. If we come back into our scenario, now we can start to go through all of the different nodes that we've got. So we'll come in, we'll do a router, we'll add quite a few in here, and then what we'll do is we'll start off one by one. So in this case, the first one we've got is around calendar management. So as we can see here, we're letting it know the status, and then we're going to go through, extract the details, and then either add someone to a meeting, reschedule a meeting, or actually cancel a meeting. So let's go off and start that. So coming into our scenario, we'll do a table, we'll do agent log, we'll then come down, we'll get the record ID from right at the start to make sure that we're being consistent. Always good practice to use the first one of that version. Sub agent, we're then going to update to say calendar management. We can say the result from here because that's going to be the output that we've got. Status will leave the same because it's still in progress, and we'll be okay for the rest. Again, if you wanted to do in progress there and there, you can do the same. If not, that's fine. So assign to calendar agent. Brilliant. So now what we need to do, let's come and get our ChatGPT module. Again, if you wanted to use Gemini or Claude, you'd be able to do that as well. What we're going to be doing in this specific module is actually trying to analyze for any dates and key information that's been mentioned. Again, we're going to use a priming prompt first, and then we're going to go through and give it some more details. So we'll just wait for this to load up, and then we'll go through exactly what's in there. So as we can see here, we've given it the really clear goal that is basically to extract any of the key information such as name, person involved, meeting start time, action required, email address, subject line of meeting, if the meeting's being rescheduled, any new proposed date, all of this sort of stuff, all of this key information. We've then got the requirements in here, how it's going to go through. Now the next part is really important. So this is how we're going to get the information to be outputted. This is going to be in a JSON structure so that we can use it a bit later on in a nice easy format. Let's just copy that because we're next going to go through and start to parse that information. We've then got the instructions. Another key thing to note in here is we've given it the current date time. This makes it much better performing to actually identify if the future date, what it may be, so that it doesn't sort of, suggest a time in the past. Again, we've given it some example inputs and outputs. 1, 2, we've got 3 here, we've got 4 here. So able to go through and improve it. The next part, we're going to come down here and actually feed it the information. So we'll come back into here, and then we're looking for the task. We'll do task. And then again, we're saying do not output JSON or ... in the output because we just want a raw JSON output so that we're able to go and do it and use it. We'll say save, and then we'll come through to here and we'll do parse, and we'll do JSON, parse JSON. And then what we're looking to do in here is add one, which will be extract calendar action. We'll do generate, we'll input the information in there. So there we go. That's the example. So it's now going to extract the person, the current date time, the existing meeting start date time, proposed start date if it's available, subject of the meeting, the action that's required, the email that's required, and so on and so forth. And we'll do save. The JSON string is going to be our OpenAI module, and we'll just rename this to extract calendar action details. There we go. We'll do save. Now it's got the yellow mark here because it doesn't want to be the last one in our module. And if we come back to here, this is where we're going to start to divert them because we've given it the output of either add, reschedule, or cancel. And that's where we're going to go through and take a different action based on what our OpenAI says. So we'll come back into here. We'll then do calendar. So in this case, we're going to be using Google Calendar, but again, you can use your own one or whichever one you're using. We can do search for event. So this is where we're going to try and find that specific meeting. We're going to do our own email address. We're going to say start time, so current state, date time. We're going to leave date open. We're going to leave that closed. We're going to come a bit further down query. We're going to put subject because this is looking for specific text. And then we're going to do limit of 1. We'll do save and we'll do search or meeting. We'll do OK. And now we're going to come and add our router, and that's where we had the 3 different routes for either add a person, reschedule a meeting, or cancel the meeting entirely. So we'll come in here, we'll add the filters in this, we'll do person to meeting, we'll give this condition, so we're going to come collapse these down, we're going to do the action from in here, and we're going to do add, we'll do equals to case insensitive, we'll do reschedule meeting, again we'll come down here and we'll get the action, we'll do reschedule, again contains case insensitive, equals case insensitive, then we'll do cancel meeting, and then we'll collapse this down, action and cancel, and we'll do equals to case insensitive, also action equals to delete, because sometimes it outputs delete. We're just going to make sure, again play around with it, see what works best for you. Okay, so add a person to a meeting. Let's go through this branch first. So we're going to do router, we're then going to see email exists, in which case the output, you see here we've got email from the JSON, so if coming back it should start pulsing. We're going to say that this exists, no email, we'll say condition, again email does not exist, we'll do save. So the next part for the email exists, so we're going to come into here, we're going to do Google Calendar, we're going to do update an event, the calendar ID, we're going to give it our calendar ID, that in there, the event ID we're going to get from where we searched a bit earlier on, so we'll do event ID, because that's going to come from this module here if you see. So we found the specific one that we want to do. The event ID we're not worried about. Start date, again we'll come down here, we'll do start, and then we'll do end. Duration we're not too worried about, and then all we're going to do is add advanced settings, and we're going to come down here and do attendees. We're going to add item, we're going to do person if they're in there, we're going to do email, and then we'll be able to send notifications to all guests, and we'll do OK for everything else. So we'll do save, and we'll rename this to add a person. What we then need to do is send a confirmation message. So as you can see here, let's copy these across. What we're going to do is add these in, and it's basically going to be sending a message back to our Slack channel that we've got in here. So we're going to be saying that we've completed it with that specific person. So to find this module, we're using Slack, and then we're coming through and using create a message, as you can see there. And then all we're going to do is add the information in there. So again, going back to the specific channel, you can do a direct message if you prefer. So we're going to update these. So we're saying, again, get rid of that. We're going to say the person, we're going to say that they've been updated to the meeting, and we're going to look for the start time. We'll add that in there, start. There we go. We'll make sure that we get it in the right spot. There we go. And then we'll do save. So that's now going to send a message back to us so that we're all good to go. What we're going to do next is update a record with Airtable again. So we're going to come into our agent log, and all we're going to say is the ID. So we'll get rid of that. We'll come back down to the start. So our ID that we have there. The task, again, that was already updated. The message, we're going to use what we sent in our Slack channel, so it knows it's updated. The sub agent, again, that was all updated in the past, so is the assignee. We're going to change the status to now be done instead of in progress. We're not updating any memory. That's something we're going to cover in another video. And we've got no voicemail or calls to include, so that's all good to go now. So if we save that, what we can now do is start to go through the route with no email. So for time, I'm just going to copy this across, and we'll paste this in here so that we can see exactly how it works. So let's get rid of that module. We'll just auto align, and then we're going to come into here. So we're going to be using Google Contacts. So the main thing in here at the moment is that you've got all of your contacts saved in Google. You can also use Slack, and then what we're doing is search for users if you want to use that way instead. That's where you'll be able to get their email address, and then you'll be able to go through. So again, depending on how your company works, you've also got Teams integration. So if I search here, Microsoft Teams, you'll be able to use different platforms like that to be able to go through and do this exact same process. Google Contacts, what we're going to say is we're searching for this specific person that's been mentioned. We want one result, search for person. And what this is saying is if we've not found an email in this parsing, but we know the name, we're going to go off and find that individual. What we can say is if we found that person, so we've been able to actually identify the contact ID, person found. So what we're doing is saying if we found that contact ID, so ID, what we're looking for is, does that person exist? Have we found their details in our Google contacts? If yes, can proceed. If not, we'll notify user that basically we don't have enough information to continue and we need them to add it in there. So as we can see here, the Slack message, what we're then saying is, I do not have enough information to complete the following action due to the missing information. So all we want to do in here is come down to task, and then we want to go all the way back to the start. We want to do task, pull that down to the bottom. And again, this is going into our Slack channel with the AI agent and the individual so that it can go through. But again, if you want to do it as private message, you can do that as well. We'll do save. And then what we're doing in our last module here, if we can't find the email address, we can't find the person, we're going to be updating the ID. So again, come back to the start, get task ID, there we go. And then we're going to input the response from that text that we've got, the message that we just sent through saying we can't find them. We're not going to change any other details apart from the status. We're going to move to blocked so we know that it wasn't able to complete that action. If we have found that individual, because we've checked our contacts, or again, Teams, Slack, whatever else you're using, what we're going to do is update the event. Again, we're going to come through here. We're going to do ID. We're then going to collapse this down. We're going to do the event ID, which is from our previous module on the left-hand side here, as you can see. We're going to come down, not change this. The start date, again, what we're going to do is come into here and do start. And then we've got start again, so we can include that in there. And then we're not looking to update anything else because we're all good to go. What we do need to update, though, from a attendee's point of view is that person. So as we can see in here, what we're saying is from our Google Calendar module, we've searched for that person and we found them. So we want their display name. So for example, Alex follower would appear. So if I input name, what we'll see is we've got display name, family name, given name, middle name, all of this information. What we're looking for is their displayed name. The email addresses, you can see this is an array. So there's multiple different options that come in here. So if we get rid of that, we'll come down to email addresses. What we're looking for is the value of the first email address. That's why we've got number 1. So we're looking for that first email address in the array to actually be included in this specific update. Great. So we can do yes for appending to the attendees, and then the rest is fine. Again, we can update all of the guests if need be, and we can do save. Let's just double check that we've got the add to the array for this one as well. We can do append to the attendees, we can do yes. So what that's basically doing is adding them to the attendee list. So the next one here is a confirmation message like we just saw. So again, this is going to be our person module from our parse JSON. We're then going to do the email. You could do the email from our find individuals in here if you want, so you know exactly which one you shared. And we've got the start date in there, which is good. Again, you can change the time zone to suit your time zone too. We've then got our last one at the end here. Again, exactly the same as what we've done for the other modules. We're going to come in here and just update the ID for the task. We're going to say what the message is, so we've been able to do it. And we're going to change the status to done. So we'll do save, and then we'll auto align. Great. We're making good progress. So the next one we're going to go through is around reschedule a meeting. So let's copy this across. Again, very similar to what we were just doing. We're going to go through and change this. So we're going to start off with a router. So what we're basically trying to identify is, was a rescheduled date provided? So as we can see in our JSON, if we open this up, we can close that down. And then we're looking for proposed new start date mentioned. So if it does exist, we're going to go and complete the action. If it doesn't exist, we're going to say we need more information. So we'll come in here and change that. Proposed new start date does not exist. We're going to say ask for new date. And then in here, we're going to send a Slack message back, which basically says they don't have enough information to complete. Please can they share a bit more information so that we can actually do the action. Again, we're going to update that to blocked so that we don't have to go through, so that we know that the agent wasn't able to complete that specific action in our agent's activity log. Again, all we need to do is change the record up to ID, and then the rest is good to go. Change status to blocked. We'll do save. Okay, so if we are going to reschedule it, the first thing we need to know is what is the duration that the current meeting is scheduled for, because that's what we're looking to do. And we're just looking to move the meeting. Again, you can do variations of this where maybe you're analyzing, has it been extended, has it been reduced? We're not going to go through that today. That's maybe a use case that we can include in the future. So as we can see here, please output the duration of time that we need, basically in the format of hours and minutes, or HHMM. That's the only way that actually this make.com scenario works. So what we're going to do is come into here, we're going to do start time. So if we come to the left a bit, you'll see that the module starts pulsing for the search. And then if we change this to be end, again in here we've got end. So what we're saying is basically analyze the two dates and find the duration between them, and output it in hours, minutes. So it'd be 12 hours, 30 minutes, for example, or 30 minutes would just be 30 with 2 zeros at the start. We'll do save. The reschedule event, so again, we're just pulling through that information. So the event ID, we'll just need to update this so that it's the event ID from our last module that we've got over on the left there. The summary, again, we'll just pull that through for summary. Proposed start date, we'll come back down here, we'll do proposed start date, and then the rest is all good to go from the date side. What we're going to do is output and include the result from the module that we've just done with ChatGPT, because what we're going to actually look for is the duration. We're not going to say it's an all-day event. We're not going to change any of the actual information. The attendees, we're going to keep the same, so we need to do attendees. There we go, we'll include the array in there. Append the attendees, no visibility, all good to go. So again, all of the information is done. And then what we've got in here is exactly the same as before. So we've now got the original start time, which is here. So we get rid of this, and we do start. And what we're saying is we've rescheduled the meeting from one date to another date. We do save, and we're just marking that as complete in our agent log, so it's all good to go. So we're almost done. What we need to go through and change is the ID, and then we're going to go and update the last one, which is just around cancelling an event. So to do that, what we need to do is come into here, Google Calendar, do delete an event. What we're going to do is get the information from the module that we've been provided. So again, we're doing our calendar ID as our own event ID. We're going to map across. So as we can see on the left hand side here, we're pulling the event ID through. We'll do save. And then I'm going to say cancel the event. And then we're just going to do the last two stages, which is just confirming that the task has been complete. So let's go through and add that in. We'll just update this that says the start time. So we'll come in here and do start in there. So we'll just pull that through to where it's got the first part of the format date. Again, you can change the date time format as you wish. And we're just going to mark that as complete at the end there. Because again, we've been able to go and complete it. We'll just come back down to the start and do ID. The rest of it is marked as done, all good to go. We'll do save, auto align. Great. So this is now ready to go. What we just need to make sure that happens at the start is we've got the same filter as we do in our other one. So what we're looking for is it to be calendar management only. So we'll come in here, calendar management. We're going to take the result from our specific agent, and we're going to say calendar management, and we'll do contain equal to case insensitive. If we do save, now we can give it a quick test. So if we come into our AI agents, we'll say, please can we add Alex to the school community growth discussion meeting on Friday. We'll send that off. So now it's all ready to go. We'll come back into our master AI. We'll do run once. So we played it. So we started our module. As you can see there, it's come through. So it's now been able to identify that we want to add someone to a meeting. What we can see here is gone to the time and task management action, and it is to do. So let's just get rid of these other ones, otherwise it's going to try and action those at the same time. I'll come back into our scenario. I don't think we updated this filter, did we? So we'll just change this to be the output from action, change that to be action. We also need to change this one, so we're looking for email. We'll do email doesn't exist. We'll do save. This one's all good to go. Person found. Yeah, we'll give this a run. There we go. It's picked up the activity. So please can we add Alex Forward to the school community growth Monday morning, and then we've gone through, analyzed it, and it's output calendar management. We've updated our table here so we'll be able to see it. It's then come up to the calendar management funnel. We've then gone through, extracted the key details. We're looking for Alex Forward, no start date time, no proposed improvement. We're looking for this specific meeting. We're adding them. So we've then passed those details, as we can see here. So it's an easier format to use. We've now searched for that specific meeting. We've been able to find it. So it's now happening on Friday, exactly at the time that we mentioned. We've come down the funnel of add because we found that the action or the output from our module was add, as you can see in here. We've come up to here, no email exists. So we haven't mentioned their specific email in the message that we send through. Because if you remember, we just said Alex follower. We didn't say that specific email address. If you do, again, it would go through the top part here. It's now gone through, searched the contact information, found that specific email address, and added that person. If we come back into Slack, we can see that we've got a message that's come through, and it says, I've added Alex to our meeting on Friday at 9 a.m. So we're all good to go. Brilliant. So that's the first module that we've been able to run through, which is around calendar management. The next one we're going to go through is around actually sending out a meeting invite. So that we're able to send out an invite for a meeting, as you can see here, and send a confirmation email at the end.